Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core number 51. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Ignacio Rojas. Ignacio, the final 3 Star Wars visions. Are you ready to go?
As quick as it came, it is already leaving.
It's already left, man. It's already over. I'm kind of surprised that they dropped them all at once.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we kind of mentioned it when we did our reactions to the first 3, but it would have been a nice thing of like, hey, Marvel's What If is just ending, and then Visions is just starting. But
I think maybe with how long the episodes are, I think it might make more sense to just have it all at once so that everyone can binge it.
Yeah,
because it is a very bingeable show.
That's a good point. And I think now that I've seen the whole season, I think they made the right move to just be like, here it is all at once. Because I was talking to my girlfriend about it. And I think at the end of the day, Star Wars Visions was good. It was solid. I had fun, but I don't think it was super spectacular. I don't think there was like... I mean, there was like 1 or 2 that was like, I would like an anime of that. Like, give me the full show. But overall, it was just like, it was fine. It was good. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm with you. I wouldn't call it great. I think that most of the episodes that we got here were good, to more than good, and so. Even with that, I wouldn't call this show happening good, because yes, the story themselves might have been one thing, but I just love that we got so many different styles and so many different interpretations of the world, things that we haven't seen in Star Wars. So I think that's more of the value that I see on Visions more than the stories that we got episode to episode. I just love seeing all these different stories from different places that we haven't seen.
I agree. Yeah. This particular batch, though, had ones that were done by studios that we had already seen previously in the
I didn't know that
season. Yeah. Let me pull up the Wikipedia page. Yeah. So episode 7, The Elder, was made by Studio Trigger, who made number 3, made the twins. There, and then which one? The last one here, Akakiri, was made by Science Saru, who made number 6, which was the Astro Boy.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that, because I feel like for those 2 episodes in particular, I think that the other episodes that you mentioned, which were 3 and 6, had, to me, such different styles. And I talked about it when we talked about them, especially for episode 3. I'm so particular with my anime style, and the anime style for for episode 3, I didn't vibe with it. I wouldn't have thought that the studio that did that episode also did 7, because I didn't like the style of 7. And same for the episode 9. I like the style of it.
3 and 9 were made by Studio.
3 and 9.
Yeah,
3 and 9. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess then it makes more sense.
Stylized.
It's still different styles. It's still different styles, but it's still stylish.
Yeah,
they're stylish. Where I vibe more with the style of episode 9. And same goes for the other 2 episodes that you mentioned.
It's almost like Studio Trigger was like, hey, let's make 2 of them. Let's have one be just like hyper outlandish, like action and super stylish, of what I think they've done on... Did they do Pro Mayor? Are they the ones that did that? I think they're the ones that did that. But the artwork like that, and let's just go all out with that. And then I think this final one that we saw was a really, really good one. But it was much more subdued, right? It was much more again formulaic of like this is the Star Wars that we know, right? And so yeah, like it's another one of those conflicting things of like I really like some of these things, but this was also your time to stretch your legs and do something different, and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you also did since you got two. But I don't know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
stuff like that. Stuff like that.
To me, my overall thoughts on these 3 episodes in particular, I think that these 3 episodes more maybe than the other 6, I felt that were victims to how short the episodes were. Where I feel that all these 3 episodes, no, episode 8 and 9, I felt like they ended too fast. And episode 7, I think that I would have liked more time with the people that we had there.
Yeah.
Where I think that, well, we can start speaking about episode 7, but I think that one of the previous episodes we talked about how it felt like we were just jumping into the story of these characters, and by the end of it, you were left wanting to see more about it, about their adventures. Right. And what I said before, it was that, yeah, and I like that. I like how it felt like, yeah, that might be like episode 4 of a 9-episode series. But I think that for episode 7, I felt like it had the same, but I didn't leave with, oh, what's going to happen next. To me, it had the effect of this, what is going on and why is this happening? And I wish we had seen more of them. This whole dynamic with the old guy, the old man, being developed a bit more, and the relationship with this Padawan and the Master developed a bit more. And so I think that for these 3 episodes, these were the most victims of the short runtime.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought episode 7 was maybe the least mysterious, if that's what, like it like you said, like it got done and I was just like, cool, that's it, like that's all. Like it didn't leave me being like, that's an interesting question, I wonder why a droid has never used the Force, but right, it's just like, okay, that was a good example of a master and his Padawan. That was it. So I liked it. I liked the characters. I did like the relationship between the Master and the Padawan. But yeah, just not enough to like tease me to want more or be like, wow, you guys had, I never would have thought of Star Wars like that, or to look like that. It just looked like normal Star Wars.
Yeah. So to me, it is the most disappointing because I mentioned last week how I wanted to see more stuff before Order 66. And I think this might be the only one that you can say, yeah, it happened before, because it was a Jedi Master and his Padawan going out being Jedi.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was disappointing that we didn't get anything special out of it.
Absolutely. I did like the I did like the elder that they fought. I thought he was just a fun character. Like he had, like, generally speaking, with like Sith characters, they're maybe more stoic or calculating, right? Where they're plotting and they're planning and stuff like that. And he just seemed like he was more mischievous. And
well, he was clearly playing with him. You could see,
right? Yeah.
Comparing his stance, the Padawan stance to his stance, he even calls it out how he calls out his guard, and it was clear that the Sith could have just easily overcome his guard, but he was clearly just playing with him, just going at the saber with his true cross.
Yeah,
he was clearly playing with him.
Yeah, which I like that. Like you rarely see that in the way that they did this. If a Sith is playing with a Padawan or something like that, it's usually to like entice them to like, hey, come to the dark side. We have cookies, right? But it's more of a like, hey, here's a teachable moment. Here's why you were wrong. Here's all that stuff. And this was just like, I can kill you at any time. I'm just fucking with you. And I kind of liked that from him and from that character. So good stuff with that one, but still just no mystery at the end of the day. Yeah,
it felt like it came and went. The Sith, their problem with that guy came and went.
Yeah, indeed. Let's move on to the next one then. Episode 8 was.
I gotta call out. I watched it in Japanese, so I gotta call out that the Padawan was voiced by one of the main-ish characters from Yakuza 7 that also was in Yakuza 6.
There you go. Good stuff. Good to know. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you would check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/The Whatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. Let's move on to this next one though. Lop and Ocho by Geno Studio or Geno Studio. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, but there you go. This one, the next one, I liked the vision of this a lot more. Hey, but I mean, I'm not into furries or stuff like that, but that's clearly what they were going for with the character design here. Of just like let's have a bunny like character, because why not? It in a weird way almost reminded me more of like Final Fantasy and stuff in that sense, with the the race of the bunny people, the Vera, I believe. I don't know.
I have no idea.
But it just seemed more video game like in a weird way.
I can see a fantasy game having a similar plot to it. Sure.
That are just like similar environments, right? Like you've been in the JRPG like underground market where all that stuff is. You've been in the big bridge going into the castle or the city and stuff like that. It reminded me a lot of that. But I did like the lightsaber design in this one. That one was really cool. Yeah. I liked that one a lot. I have to say though, because of the short run times, I don't feel like I got enough in terms of the motivations of the characters. Like we know this one dude's daughter is like, well, to protect the family, we need the Empire to come in and help give us the resources and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the father is just like, we've never needed them before. We have the old ways. Why can't we do that? And then there's Lop, who's just like, nobody fight, please. But it just wasn't like, I don't feel like there was enough there to truly clue me in on like, okay, why does the daughter feel like they need the Empire? besides it just being shiny and new.
I I disagree with that. First of all, I think that this again was a victim to the short runtime where the just as I was getting so into what was going on, into the fight of the two sisters, it just gets cut short. I did like the dynamic of the daughter and the father, where you had the daughter that wanted progress. She saw progress in the Empire. She didn't want them to be stuck in the past, or not progressing, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, whereas the father wanted to keep what they have. And I did like the dynamic between the father and the daughter, and having Lop be Lop, right? That was him.
Lop, yeah. Lop is the
having her be in the middle of it and be sure you are not my daughter, but you are still you're not my biological daughter, but you are my daughter, and that's why I'm gonna trust you this fight. And I did really love that, and I just wish we could have at least a movie where we could have seen more of Lop being a kid and her growing up with a sister, and then having her having to fight her sister. I think that again, that moment, that whole fight, for as short as it was, I was so into it, so into the emotion that they both had, having to fight sister and sister. And I was so disappointed when it just, okay, she cut an X across, and you would think, oh, she's
to you. He gonna give
oh, she's dead. She's dead. Just 5 seconds later in the background, no, she's just rising in her own ship.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's it. That's it.
Live to fight another day. Yeah, I liked the dynamic between the characters. I just don't feel like we got enough info, like background info on like, okay, what industry is the father really working in? It seems like he has workers. He's the boss. Is this like a mob or mafia style thing, or are they like rice workers?
I think that's more of a. It's more of a Japanese thing, I would say, or not a Japanese thing, but a feudal thing, where you would have this lord or whoever be the not think of it as a king, but smaller.
Yep.
That you have people under you.
Yeah. But it's just like she wants progress, but what kind of progress? She wants the new, like, is the Empire promising them like new tools and better machines, or are they promising like military power and protection, or stuff like that? Like there's just not enough details in there for me to like really like eat a full meal on like, okay, I get these character dynamics and what they want, but for what we got, I understood them, right? Of just like, she wants the new thing. She wants, as you mentioned, progress. And here is this young child who was kind of adopted and taken in a weird circumstance.
It was maybe a bit, again, due to the short length of the episode was rushed.
Yeah. But she ends up like being a part of that family there, and just trying to be the peacekeeper, which is maybe, now that I think of it, like a good interpretation of the Jedi, because that's kind of what they wanted to do anyways. They wanted to be the peacekeepers. So I don't know. It has stuff to it. I'm like, this is good. I like this. It's the what's his name? The Maxwell Lord thing from Wonder Woman. Life is good.
That is good.
But it could be better.
Can be better.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. That's what I thought of.
Yeah.
That one there.
And also, I just like also to shout out the little backstory that we get on the lightsaber that he gives to Lop. He didn't even say that it was a Jedi. He said a guy named Jedi or something like that. I came here and
guy called a Jedi. So like his name was a Jedi.
Yeah. And so he came here, trained one of my ancestors or whoever, and gave him the lightsaber what he left. You see in the image the ship is leaving, and that is being passed down generation to generation. And I love that little backstory that they give.
That was good. Good. Kudos to them on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to the last one, episode 9, Akakiri by Science Saru.
Oh, I forgot. Going back to the name of the previous studio, I would say it's Geno Studio.
Geno. Okay, cool. And I think I did mix up earlier. 3 and 7 are made by the same Studio Trigger. The twins and the elder.
Yeah, so 3 is same. Studio Trigger, and then okay, 7 is
Toby and Akakiri.
Yeah, no, you said it right. You said it right the first time where you said it was the elder,
and then
when I mentioned that, you called me out and said no, it's the last one, and that's when you messed up.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, and so episode 9 was Science Saru, and that was also 6.
My thoughts are kind of the same between Studio Trigger and Science Saru, right? Where the first one that they did was a lot more out there and a lot more stylized, whereas I think this one was a lot more formulaic and just like, hey, here's the Star Wars that you know. There is a small interesting question in there, but again, this is just a like interpretation of it's just a like random story of like, what if this happened? Because there's only been one Sith Lord to learn how to resurrect people. It was Sidious's master. I forget his name.
Plagueis?
Yes, Darth Plagueis. So what was the Sith that was in here? Were they in contact with Plagueis somehow? I don't know.
Yeah,
Am I overthinking it? Probably.
I was wondering, did he... When it first happened, did he kill the girl, or was it an illusion? And then when that happened, was it really bringing her back to life, or was it giving like a bit of a bit more energy? She was dying, but you gave it some energy.
Mean, he mentions she's dead, so I think we just kind of have to take it at that.
Yeah, but it also happened so weirdly, where in his vision he's being attacked, but it didn't tell that it was her. But why was she charging at him?
Well, it looked like what were her hands tied up, or was she was
taken,
drugged?
They took her away. Right. No, they took her away.
Right, and then it looked like they must have like tied her up or drugged her, because when she walks out there, she's kind of like stumbling and like waving back and forth. So maybe they hit her really hard, and she's just like she just doesn't really know what's happening, and so he's just like chop, slice, bam, boom, and then hits her next. Because
when that happened, I just thought it was gonna be just a vision that she's playing mind trick with him, and the more it went, the more I was. Okay, so it did happen.
Yeah, I mean, it came true. His vision of killing her came true. He didn't know it was her in the dream, but then it happened, and for him, it's just like not only did it come true, but it was her, like the one I was trying to protect. So like I really enjoyed this story. I thought this one was fantastic. This is one I don't necessarily need to see more of the story, but I liked the artwork in this one. It was
different,
it was different, but it wasn't so stylized that it was just like, this is a little off-putting or stuff like that. It was just like, okay, it has a unique style, but things look like they should look, if that makes sense.
I also really enjoyed this episode, and once again, like the last one, I feel like it was yet again another victim of this short runtime, where if you are going to have that turn at the end. I wish we could have more time to develop that turn and see a bit more of the consequences that go on after that. But yeah, I just wish we would have more time with that, and also you had a bit of a backstory there too, where you showed those. I think those are the two same characters, but younger. The woman in the flashback, I think, looked different.
Interesting.
Or at least to me, it looked different. But I think they both look different. And but I think it is meant to be that it's just them, but younger.
You mean when they're like sitting on the edge of the cliff? Oh yeah, that's supposed to be them.
Yeah, it's supposed to be them. Yeah. But I think that both of them looked so different from how they look now. But still, I wish that once again, if it had been longer, I wish they would have explored more of that relationship and having to deal now with him turning to the dark side. I think that the turn happened way too fast because, again, it is a short runtime. I just wish it could have been developed more.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we don't get to see his past to know. Has he been flirting with the dark side before? Is this something he kind of gives into every now and then? Or like, why would he just suddenly, like, the death of a loved one is traumatic, but yeah, right. There's not enough time for us to really explore that. I mean, it's like knowing Star Wars, it's enough to be like, oh shit, he just turned. But it's also
he put
up his hood.
Now.
Oh no! But it's only because of that. It's only because we already know Star Wars, not because we've seen this emotional connection between the characters or his history with the Force or stuff like that. So
it reminds me a lot to episode 3 when Anakin turns. It is very similar. And even then, I think that for as bad as episode 3, for as bad as how episode 3 did it, I feel like episode 3 did it better than this one. Because this is pretty much, you can compare it to the scene where Sidious comes out as being Lord Sidious and the Jedi are trying to stop him. And you have Mace Windu there. And he just wants, okay, I'm going to sell my soul to you because I want to save Padme. And I think that one was at least better done than here. Yeah, and it is very similar.
3 whole movies to to do it.
That's the thing, because
they were good, but
but they had more time to develop that. Whereas here they try to cram that into not even the 30 minutes. It's just like the last 3 minutes of it. They try to cram it in there, and it is very almost 1-to-1 as to the turn of Anakin. And again, this should have been longer.
There you go. Let's see. Final thoughts on the series as a whole. What did you have some, like, now that we've seen the whole thing, here's what you wished they would have done, or what you thought they did well, or what you thought they did bad?
I want to just give a shout out to Lucasfilms, Disney, whoever it is, because you wouldn't, if you were, I don't know when the deal went through, but if they told you, hey, Disney is just gonna buy them, and you would think, oh, it is gonna be just them doing it. You wouldn't expect them to do something like going to Japanese studios and, hey, develop us as a show. And it reminds me of what they are doing with Marvel in the game side, where they go to other game developers and say, hey, what can you do with our Marvel IP? And I just want to give them a shout out to do something like this, because having them work with Japanese studios and Japanese studios work on Star Wars is something that you would have never thought it would have happened. And it is such a great thing. And I think that, not every episode was great. Not every episode was good. Maybe overall it averaged out to be just good episodes. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that they did that and they gave us something so different from such a different point of view. I
agree.
Things that we haven't seen before. I just love it for that.
Yeah. I'm super excited that this exists. I hope we get more down the road. If we can get like 2 or 3 seasons of this, I'd be perfectly happy.
Or maybe treat them as pilots, and hey, these 3 worked well.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, I hope this is a launch
develop a whole series out of it.
For like them shopping around and building these relationships up to be like, hey, what if we did a Star Wars show as an anime instead? I'm a big fan of the Star Wars cartoons, all of the CGI stuff. I think like 90% of those are fantastic. But yeah, I would like to see them explore a little bit more with style. Just like, they don't all need to look like that. They don't all need to be in canon. Like, just
well, none of these are in canon.
Right. Well, these aren't. But like all of the, like when Disney bought all of this stuff, you're like, okay, here's what's canon, and everything we're making, including games from here on out, are canon. So it's interesting to see that now that they've built that up, that they are maybe kind of starting to be like, okay, what about some stuff that is not canon? What about some stuff just like, let's do a thing over there, let's do a thing over here. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of this down the road. But thought this was solid, not great, but good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for sure. So there you go. That is our thoughts on Star Wars Visions. We hope you enjoyed it as well. But Ignacio, where can the people find you on the internet?
The people can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJASB.
Perfect. And you can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you guys want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So go like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a Jedi, tell a Sith. Do whatever you have to do to help us spread the word. We would greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Last but not least, big shout out to our Patreon supporters, especially those at the $5 tier and above. So thank you, Sam, so much. May the Force be with you. We love you a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Shout out to you, Sam.
Yeah. But that's it. That wraps us up for Star Wars Visions. Next up, we're recording this on a Tuesday, and tomorrow is Wednesday when the next Marvel's What If comes out. So if you guys are watching this, be on the lookout for that one as well. But until then, we will see you next time. Bye.
May the Force be with you.